to this small tutorial on motion matching for Unity. In this tutorial, we're not really going to go through how to do something, but we're going to discuss some of the concepts that we need to understand about animations and using them with motion matching. Specifically, what animations we need, what do we require from them, when to use mocap, how much can we use cut clips. So let's just get into that. And let's start off by talking about mocap and why motion matching tends to be better with mocap. And there's two reasons. So the first reason is our trajectory. So if I just hit the gizmos here, we can see our red trajectory. This is the trajectory of the animation. Now, one of the reasons why mocap is so good is if you can do long takes, the preprocessor, which we have here, when we run the pre-process stage, it can easily calculate the future trajectory because it's in the animation itself. But what if we have something like a cut clip? So let's have a look at some cut clips here. These are Kobold's animations from the Unity Asset Store. So they're a good set of, but they are cut clips. So typically, under the normal understanding of motion matching, it wouldn't work very well. However, that's not the case with Unity, motion matching for Unity. So let me find a good one. So here we go. Here's a cut clip. You can see it's very short. The whole clip it's almost exactly, it's 29 frames. So it's less than a second long. So if you remember correctly, we have 1 second of trajectory in the future. So at this point in the animation, how's it going to get 1 second in the future? In fact, from any point in the animation, because it's less than a second long, how's it going to get an accurate future trajectory? So mocap solves this by having long takes. It can just, it's really easy to just play through the animation in the pre-process phase and calculate that. Now I have implemented a way to figure out the trajectory for a cut clip without having to stitch together your animations. Now, you've probably seen this video from GDC about motion matching, and they show this part where they're actually using keyframed animations, but they stitch the whole thing together into one clip as if it were mocap. Now, they did this to test how it would work, but their system does not have what my system has in terms of enabling cut clips, and they don't need it. They're Ubisoft. They have big mocap studios, so they'll just capture mocap, right? So that is why, that's as far as they go. And a lot of the misconception can come from this video that, hey, we need to stitch all our animations together into these long mocap clips. That is completely false. You don't have to do that. You will get no benefit from that, and your animations will probably look the same, if not possibly worse. And it will also perform worse because you're going to have a lot of redundant animation. With the motion matching for Unity, you can just include these cut clips, and it's only going to create poses within the range here, but it's going to take the trajectory from somewhere else. And I've explained how to do that in the quick start, but I'm going to go over it again later in this video just so we understand that clearly. So let's have a look actually at a scene with cut clips and see how that works. I'll go over to my cut clip demo. Again, these animations are not included as they are purchased from the asset store. And here we go, and it works pretty well. I haven't calibrated it a whole lot, but you can see it's quite responsive. It turns really well. Now, there was two reasons why mocap is good. So one was the trajectory, which we already discussed, and the other reason is just the sheer quantity of animation you get. You get so many stops, you get so many turns that it's just going to look more organic than cut clips, right? So with cut clips, you just tend to get less transitions, and that's a trade-off you're going to have to deal with. There's nothing that I can do as a developer to magically create animations for you. You're either going to have to use cut clips, create additional transitions, or capture mocap. That is what motion matching is. So you can see though it works pretty well, and in my opinion it sometimes is working better than the raw Unity mocap. And that's where my opinion comes from, that if you have high quality mocap captured in a specific way for motion matching, that is your best outcome. The next best thing is really good quality cut clips, followed by bad mocap being the worst case. So there we have it. We don't need to cut our clips. Let's have a look at the preprocessor for this. Preprocessor, and we'll see how we define that future trajectory. Go to our composites. We'll look at, let's start with the easiest one. We have looping animations, so walk forward loop, right? This is a forward walking loop. I'll get my timeline here and I'll just set it up so we can have a preview. Hit the preview button. And it's just a loop. We'll play it. He just keeps looping. In this case, it's really easy for MXM to figure out what the trajectory should be because it can just loop the animation. So if you check loop on a looped animation, it can easily figure out the trajectory. So that is the easiest case for cut clips, is if it's looping. The system will actually detect it when you drag in your animation into here, and it'll check this for you. So you can just leave those as they are. Let's look at run forward start. So if we play this one, it's a run forward start animation. Very short amount of time, 0.766 seconds of animation. So not much to calculate a trajectory. However, we have these boxes here. And what I've done is I've dragged in the run forward loop into this box. And it's basically telling the system, hey, steal the trajectory from the run forward loop, the trajectory for that comes after this point here in our animation, steal it from the run forward loop. Now, it's only stealing the trajectory. These animations don't actually have to smoothly go together. Okay, it's just saying, okay, I'm going to just steal the root position, the trajectory, and calculate it based on that. We could also specify something before the animation. However, in this case, he's standing idle, so it's going to be still trajectory anyway, so you can just leave it blank. If you have a different case where he is moving at the start of the animation, so let's go to a run forward stop, right? He's in motion, and then he comes to a stop. You can see we've chucked in the run forward loop in the before anim clip. We have nothing in the after anim clip because he comes to a stop anyway. He's going to have a still trajectory. Just leave it as it is. Okay. So there we have how the system figures that out. Behind the scenes, it's actually very, very complex. There's a lot of issues with cut clips, and I spent a lot of time banging my head against the wall to get it work. I can totally understand why, Ubisoft thought, hey, it's not worth it. We'll just capture our mocap. Anyway, a lot of issues, especially with how motion matching works and how we flow through the data of animations. It tends to work better with long, continuous clips. But now, motion matching for Unity works without long, continuous clips. So we can just forget about that. We can just have our cut clips, throw them in, just add a few more settings, a little bit more work than mocap. Mocap, you can pretty much just chuck it in, and maybe you tag parts that you don't want. But you can see I've gone and done this for, all of them. They're either looping or I've specified another animation to steal the trajectory from. There is another option, right? Say you don't have an animation to steal from, you can check this extrapolate button. And what that's going to do is I'm just going to turn this, this one off so we can see our preview better. What it's going to do is it's going to take the motion state, so this little bit of motion in the root position at the end, and it's going to extrapolate it 1 second into the future. Now this is a last resort. It gets a better trajectory than doing nothing, because your trajectory at this point would just be still if you did nothing. So if you don't have an animation to steal it from, hit extrapolate. It'll extrapolate either before or after. In fact, this animation is a really good example because we're running before and we're running after. So we drag that loop before and after. I hope this is becoming abundantly clear that we don't need to cut together clips unless we're actually creating new transitions that never existed before that are going to add to the animation. Like, oh, he's got more options of transitions. So now we come to the last point of this tutorial, and that is when do cut clips fall short? When are they not enough? Okay, so this particular animation set is very good because it has a lot of transitions. It has plants. It has particularly starts. It has stops, but not just any stop. It has a stop with a right foot forward, and then it has, or left foot, and then it has a right-footed stop. So it's got a lot of different transitions. You'll even see run forward at heaps of different angles. So, run forward, start to the left. It's got run forward, start to the right. It's got run forward, start backwards. It's got a lot of transitions. It's got a lot of plants. What else does it have? More plants. It's got, turn curves, turn on point, turn 180. So I think you understand the key that I'm pointing at here is that it has a lot of transitions. If you take an animation set that just has a lot of, like locomotion, so it's like running, walking, doesn't have any stops or turns or plants, the system's just not going to work. I promise you it will fail. And the reason is, for motion matching to work, you are continuously matching the movement, the fluidity of the character. You're matching those joints and the trajectory. Now, if there is no transition animations, the difference between standing still and a fully running animation is so large that it will struggle to reach that gap, and you will press W on the keyboard to try and start running forward, and it will be unresponsive for a while. If you want responsiveness in motion matching, you need responsive animations. There's not much I can do about that to help you besides the motion speed timing, but you're still going to need those transitions. And there's a limit to how much you can speed up animations or slow them down before it looks silly. So I hope this tutorial has helped you understand it. Let's have a quick look, just to close off, at some of the poses, or rather trajectories. Actually, let's do this. Let's have a look at our trajectories for the cut clips. So we've got what are we looking at? Run forward start. So you can see, even though the animation for run forward start ends about there, okay, so it's got 15 poses. So technically, if we were to pre-process this without specifying the next animation, on this particular pose, the last pose of run forward start, this trajectory here would not exist, okay? It would just be flat there, it would just end. Likewise, for pretty much everything else, what do we have here? A run forward stop. Now, this is the very first pose of the run forward stop, and notice how he has a pass trajectory. Where does he get that pass trajectory from? Because the animation is just stopped, before that. There's no movement. So it steals that from the thing we specified, which was the run forward loop. I know I'm repeating myself. I know I'm saying this over and over again, but it is so important to understand this. Mocap is nothing special for motion matching, besides the fact that, at least with motion matching for Unity, besides the fact that you get a lot of different transitions and it can be a lot more fluid. If you went and keyframed tons and tons and tons and tons of different turning animations, even redundant ones, you would get the same result as mocap. So yeah, I think I'm sounding like a broken record, but I think it really needs to be understood. Don't waste your time stitching animations together. Make sure that whatever animation sets you use have lots of transitions. The more transitions, the better. There may be tools in the future to sort of create, to help you create transitions where they don't exist. They won't look great, but they will at least be better than nothing. But do not rely on that. I cannot guarantee that that will happen or when that will happen. So just understand that this is what is required for motion matching. That's what motion matching is. Thank you all for watching. This has been a bit of a different tutorial, more of a concept of motion matching, and I hope that you understand a bit more about how it works. I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.